And here you have it. One of my clients was able to access over $105,000 in auto financing to scale their car rental fleet business. What if I told you that you can access over $105,000 in capital to scale your auto fleet business? Just like the screenshot I just showed you. I promise you, and it's not going to hurt your personal credit. If you think I'm lying, then what I want you to do is listen up, because in today's video, we're going to break down the step-by-step process on what you need to start or scale your car rental business using business capital. So if you skip these steps, you're likely going to get denied if you haven't already. So what I want you to do is go grab your pen and paper. No, seriously, go grab your pen and paper, because this is going to be a good one. And without further ado, let's dive in. All right, ladies and gents, business owners who's ever watching this, I'm just gonna, just try to be straightforward and honest with everything in this video to try to help you. Now, I am gonna give some surface level, numbers and things like that as far as what you need. You always got to do your due diligence as far as your homework. Don't just take everything I say with a grain of salt, because everything is in the making of this video, and everybody's business journey is different no matter what category of business that you're in. But I just kind of want to really just put you in that right direction, all right? So let's go ahead and talk about, really just getting into this. Because starting or scaling a car rental business always comes down to really one word, and that one word is leverage. And what I mean by that is, imagine that you're stacking income or producing cars, and it's kind of like building blocks. The more cars you have, the more cash you're likely to make. But most cars cost, well, money. And that's where the leverage comes in. So using other people's money is definitely going to play a part, so you can stop really digging into your personal savings just to try to come out on top. Because here's the trap that most people fall into. They finance all of these cars in their personal name, and that is a huge mistake. Why? Because if you haven't done it already, you're going to see that it will always tank your score and jack up your debt to income ratio, aka your DTI. And when your credit score goes down and your DTI goes up, lenders will start seeing you as over leveraged and maybe almost impossible to get more funding just because of that. So instead, the right way is to put everything into your business name. So what does that mean? That means forming that LLC if you have not already. Once you do the LLC, you want to get the EIN number from IRS. Do not let anybody try to charge you for an EIN. I promise you, it doesn't cost anything. And once you set that up, the next thing that you need to do is set up a business address, business phone number, and then a business checking account with any lender or banks that you feel comfortable with that you can probably get business capital from. And once, of course, you get the business checking account, the next thing that we're going to do is talk about is, of course, getting the business credit cards. And most importantly, you want to keep all of your personal info separate from your business, but because you got to understand they're two separate entities, okay? I know I'm breezing past this, but I promise you I'll break this all down a little more later. And I know I'm kind of just breezing through this, but I promise you I'll break this down a little bit more. But understand, when your business owns the cars and handles all the loans, your personal credit pretty much stays protected for the most part. And you can start building real business credit that opens up way more doors, okay? So always keep that in mind. Stop putting them in your personal name. Try to get them more into your business name. And that's just part one. Part two, we're talking about commercial financing and actually using this as a smart route. Because understand, we're not using regular car loans here, ladies and gents. This is commercial auto financing. So that means that the car loan goes into a business name and, again, not into your personal name. This is the number one thing you need to ask for when you go into these dealerships. Because most commercial auto lenders, like Bank of America, they want to see vehicles that are typically no more than 3 to 5 years old, depending on what the make and model is. This is the information that I've also gotten researching, but also from all the clients that I've helped on the car rental fleet side. They normally say about 3 to 5 years. If you know anything different, let me know in the comment section. I just want to try to help everybody as much as I can, but it's typically around 3 to 5 years. And that's because of course, newer cars hold more value and are at lower risk, depending on what it is. The benefits of this type of financing is that you can get multiple cars at one time under your business name, and your business credit will continue to grow and unlock way more capacity, okay? Because not saying that it's limitless on the business side, but you get way more cushion than on the personal side. But here's the flip side. Newer cars also means higher debt. And cars depreciate extremely fast, in case you didn't know. So your business must be generating enough income to cover all these payments, the maintenance, insurance, etc. And of course, you still want to profit. You're not just here just to break even, just say that you're a business owner. So pretty much understand that. Understand that there's always a good side, but there's always, the flip side for everything. Also, when it comes to all of these cards on your business side, you're usually and typically gonna have to personal guarantee the loan, which means that lenders want to see that your credit on the personal side is solid. This is exactly why I said what I said, that it won't be, as far as your personal credit, won't be harmed for the most part. You still got to look good as an individual because, again, you're advocating for an entity, okay? It's not Bob going in for the bank asking for money. It's Bob LLC. I know I say that a lot, but I always try to use that example, okay? So you got to make sure that you look good on the personal side. Let's kind of break that down as far as what you'll typically need, which is going to go into part 3, which is personal credit mix. So the number one question is, so what does my personal credit need to look like? All right. Ideally, your FICO score, not your Vantage score, which you get from Credit Karma, your FICO score should be at least a 700 or higher. And that's just surface level. Okay. You can get away with a 680, 690, but I wouldn't go any lower than that. All right. You should have no negatives on your credit report, not on your Experian, your TransUnion, Equifax, or none of that, because there's different lenders, especially with Bank of America and stuff like that, that pull from all 3 bureaus, or they might pull just 1, just 2. You don't want to try to wing it, just having your fingers crossed and hoping that you get something. You want to make sure it's clean across the board so you don't have to worry about anything. The next thing I just want to talk about as far as your credit reporting is making sure that you have 0 to very, very low inquiries on your credit report. Too many credit pulls, especially in a short span of time, will definitely trigger red flags. And of course, with inquiries, that's literally telling you, hey, he went here at this time. He also went here. You don't want too many of those because then now it looks like you're thirsty for credit. Even if you are thirsty for credit, don't look like it. The next thing that we want to talk about is having a good mix of open, well-managed accounts and low credit utilization, okay? And by utilization, I'm saying at least have it, 10% or lower, okay? I know people say 30%, but 10% is always that sweet spot with everything because it puts you in that top 1% as far as I'm very responsible when it comes to handling consumer debt. So if your personal credit is solid, it gives banks confidence to lend you on the business side because, again, you're advocating for an entity. So if you look good, they'll feel a little more comfortable giving money to your business. And of course, if you're having any issues with this, business owners, then what I want you to do again is click the link below so we can schedule a consultation to see where your credit is at and what we need to remove so we can get you this type of funding. All right. So again, click the link below, schedule a free consultation. Let's see how we can get you going. But enough about that. Let's get back into part 4. And with part 4, that we're going to be talking about the 0 APR credit cards for flexibility. Okay. Now, when it comes to 0 APR credit cards, if you're buying cars at an auction or through sellers, like pretty much like Hertz, I've heard a lot of my clients and people that are in the car rental space say that Hertz kind of allows you to do certain things on credit, then 0% APR cards are going to be your best friend. And one of the best options right now is Chase because they're one of the biggest banks in America, and also on the business side, they can really help you if you maneuver correctly, okay? They have the Chase Inc. business card and also the Chase Business Cash Card. And these cards give you 0 APR for the first year. That means 12 months. So that's going to give you enough time to swipe for deposits, fees, repairs, all that stuff, and then you can carry a balance without paying interest during the period. Okay. And I know a lot of people are saying, but you're holding debt, that could seriously hurt you. Number one, it doesn't show up on your personal credit. And then number 2, it's giving you no interest for the first 12 months. Anytime that you become a business owner, ladies and gents, you have to leverage any type of debt that you can. This country was built on debt, so you have to use it responsibly. Having no plan with debt is always a recipe for disaster. But if you can really have a strategy to move forward with debt, then that's going to help you pretty much propel into the future as far as being more successful. Does that make sense? So with that being said, with strong credit, you can access up to $150,000 with no documentation. But again, you are going to need, and I'm talking about with Chase, you are still going to need a 700 credit score, no negatives, and preferably no recent inquiries to qualify, especially with Experian and then also TransUnion, depending on what jurisdiction you're in as far as what region and things like that. But if you use these correctly, these cards will give you time to get your rental earnings before you even have to pay anything back. But at the end of the day, please understand, always have a plan and strategy, okay? Don't just Don't just shotgun and just think that I'm making a lot of money knowing that you owe a lot of money. Please be responsible. You're a business owner, right? All right then. Now, I just want to get, Chase out of the way, but I know a lot of you seen in the beginning, it was Bank of America. So I know a lot of you are wondering, how can I get $105,000, in business funding or auto financing on the business side with Bank of America? That's what I really came here for. Relax. I promise you I got you. So let's go ahead and go into part 5, which is the Bank of America real results. Now, to go back to the $105,000 funding example from Bank of America, that client, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm just going to be honest with you. That client had a very long-standing business with B of A, okay? We actually leveraged that relationship with a clean credit report and all of my banking reps over at B of A to help them get over $100,000 in business auto financing. So I don't think that you can just walk up in there with a great credit score, a couple of dollars in the account, and you're going to get $105,000. That's not typically how it's going to go, but I'm going to give you the right data points where you can get something relatively close to that, or if you've had a relationship with them for a long time, you're going to get something similar. So for the first data point, I just want to tell you Bank of America does offer a pre-qualification tool, but here's the catch. If you do not have a relationship with them already, it's more likely it's still going to be a hard pull on your credit immediately before you could check anything. So I just want to throw that out there as a disclaimer. They might pull your credit before they can see what you can actually be approved for. I've seen some people do that and they got hard pulls, some people didn't. Okay, so B of A usually just pulls from Experian, and sometimes it can even do a second pull on Equifax. Okay, so that's a double pull, so you have to be ready for that. So please understand that. The next thing I just need you to understand is you need to be at least at a 720 or better. I know I've been saving 700 plus, but with Bank of America, you need to have at least a 720. A clean credit profile, just like I stated earlier, and strong business activity to qualify, okay? So what I mean is you can't just walk up in there and just put some money in an account and then just a week later try to apply because you got a 720. That's not what I'm saying. You're going to have to really stretch out, that relationship. I'm not saying for a year, 9 months, but for a couple of months, okay? So again, open that checking and savings account, deposit some money in the account, and then also use those accounts, okay? That's how you build trust in those internal banking points. And once you do all that, I would say for at least 60 days or something like that, maybe even 90 days, and make sure that your credit score is still intact, then you should get a pretty good, outcome when it comes to that. Maybe 50,000, maybe 75,000. But if you want to use my rep, of course, you can click the link below so we can try to get you even more funding than that. But I just want to tell you that. Next thing, we're going to get into part 6, which is scaling smart and using your next steps. To scale your car rental business the smart way, please understand and follow these steps. Number 1, you're going to have to set up your business foundation the right way, okay? LLC, EIN, bank accounts, business addresses, the whole 9, okay? The next thing I need you to do is build your personal credit, because a lot of you have the business credit, but you don't have your personal credit in order, and you're trying to go around this and you can't. You have to fix this. So you need to make sure that it's a 700 plus, or if you're trying to get with Bank of America, a 720, and develop a strong banking relationship with lenders just like Bank of America while you're fixing your credit. Next thing that you need to do is you're going to have to use commercial auto financing to pick up multiple newer vehicles. This isn't on the personal side, ladies and gents, so it is going to be a little more pricey on the business side, so please understand that. The next thing that we're talking about is make sure that you try to utilize and leverage 0% APR business credit cards like the Chase Ink, Chase Cash, KeyBank, anything like that, any of them that give you a 0% APR for at least a year or 6 months or 9 months, whatever's going to work for you. Next thing that we're talking about is, of course, tracking your fleet's profitability. So that means, the rentals per day, the maintenance, and then also the depreciation. And then the last thing that we're talking about is never put your business cars in your personal name. Keep all business debt with business, okay? And as your revenue grows, you'll qualify for way more cars, way better terms, and way more capital. So if you use all of these tools that I gave you in this video, plus way more that you get from studying, making sure that you do everything correctly as far as tailoring it to your needs, I promise you, you are going to scale to the moon with your car rental business without maxing out your personal credit. And I know some of you are watching this video like, man, whatever, that sounds awesome, but I have these negatives, or, I have the great credit score, but I still don't know which business sequence that I need to do. I don't know if I need to go to Bank of America or anything like that. Then like I said earlier, what I want you to do is click the link below for the capital consultation so we can help you get to that 100, 150, even $200,000 or even $300,000 in capital so you can start, scale whatever business that you need so you can start getting the profit that you deserve. So what I want you to do again is click the link below. I promise you, free consultation will get everything started and get you scaled just like I did for all of my other clients in the past. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope this helps one of you guys, and I hope that this kind of sparks the idea as far as what to do next for whether it's your car rental business or any type of business that you want to do in the future, to understand that anything is possible as long as you have the right strategy and capital. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, ladies and gents.